Seven benefits of lactofermentation according to science. The benefits of lactofermentation on your health. Known to our ancestors since the dawn of time, lactofermentation is used as a method of food preservation. This practice increases the shelf life of food and allows you to consume it throughout the winter without any risk to your health. A natural preservation technique. Today, we hear more and more about fermentation, lactic ferments, lactofermentation. But what exactly is this practice and what are its benefits? There are several types of fermentation: lactic, alcoholic, acetic, malolactic, butyric. We are going to talk to you essentially about lactic fermentation, called lactofermentation. Benefits of lactofermentation: an antiseptic means of preservation. Lacto-fermented foods can be kept for several years without any risk of bacterial development. They can be safely consumed for a very long time thanks to lactic acid, a natural preservative. It prevents pathogens from surviving and maintains our health in an optimal way. Lacto-fermented foods and drinks are easier to digest and less irritating to the intestines. The lactic acid present in these lacto-fermented foods has a beneficial effect on the intestinal flora and our intestines. It rebalances the microbiota, which ensures the proper functioning of the intestinal barrier and strengthens our immunity, which is necessary for our general well-being. This is why lactic ferments are highly recommended after antibiotic therapy, which destroys the intestinal flora and thus weakens our immune system. Intestinal problems such as diarrhea, constipation, bloating and acidity are greatly reduced and sometimes even disappear. Lactofermentation allows good bacteria such as probiotics to proliferate. They eliminate toxins accumulated in the body, eliminate phytic acid present in cereals and reduce the effect of pesticides found in food. Lactofermentation increases the bioavailability of minerals originally present in food. In lacto-fermented birch sap, the mineral content is higher than at the time of harvest. Presence of vitamin C, B and K. Vitamin C is still present in large quantities in lacto-fermented foods. This vitamin is very important in maintaining growth, bone structure, cartilage and teeth. It is an antioxidant, chelator of toxins and heavy metals. Lactofermentation allows the synthesis of vitamins B and K essential for the functioning of the nervous system, muscles, essential for the development of cells, anti-inflammatory role. Fermented vegetables have existed since the dawn of time, and humans have learned to master their production because of their many benefits. In fact, lactofermentation is an excellent ally of our health, in addition to preserving food and creating addictive flavors. Why eat lacto-fermented vegetables? They are easier to digest, rich in nutrients, safe and good for the microbiota. And best of all, they're delicious. On this channel, we approach health from a global perspective, working on the 4 pillars of health: diet, physical activity, mental health and sleep. If you are not yet a subscriber to the YouTube channel, Top Fitness Health, consider subscribing, and if you want to be notified when a new video is released, consider turning on the little bell. 1. Fermented vegetables are easier to digest. Did you know that vegetables are much more digestible when they are fermented? Lactofermentation is a great ally of our digestive system. In fact, lactic acid bacteria pre-digest food for us during fermentation. They create enzymes and break down some of the large molecules that are difficult for our digestive system to assimilate. Among other things, fermentation reduces carbohydrates as well as certain compounds, oligosaccharides, that cause flatulence and digestion problems. 2. Fermented foods are richer in nutrients. Fermentation increases the nutritional value of foods, the bioavailability of nutrients and the content of enzymes, in addition to neutralizing many toxic substances. Fermented vegetables retain all their nutrients and vitamins. Their nutritional value can even improve. Indeed, during fermentation, microorganisms create different nutrients such as vitamin C, B vitamins, including the famous B12, and vitamin K. The bacteria also consume the sugar in the vegetables. Lactofermentation can also destroy or neutralize several toxic substances such as cyanide, phytates and saponins. Incredible, isn't it? By lacto-fermenting cassava root, we can reduce its cyanide concentration by more than 70%. And that's not all. Fermentation makes the nutrients in vegetables accessible, a process called bioavailability, which breaks down the large molecules and releases the nutrients, which can then be absorbed by our bodies. In fact, studies have shown that iron and zinc are more easily absorbed from fermented vegetables. Lactofermentation also releases proteins, amino acids, vitamins and antioxidants. Real food boosts. As a bonus, eating fermented foods with a meal also helps to absorb nutrients from other foods through the effect of enzymes. All the more reason to have lacto-fermented foods with every meal. 3. Lactofermentation strengthens our microbiota. Lacto-fermented foods are an important source of probiotics and prebiotics. By including them in our diet, they help support and strengthen our digestion and health. Indeed, digestion depends in large part on the microbiota, which is also called the second brain. The microbiota includes all the bacteria, yeasts and other microorganisms that live on and in our body, more than 100,000 billion microorganisms divided into more than 3,000 species. These microorganisms live in symbiosis with our body and ensure many biological processes. The microbiota plays a role in the human body's defense system, in the regulation of blood pressure and in the digestion of food. It can even influence our eating habits and decisions. Microorganisms with a positive effect on health are found in large quantities in all lacto-fermented foods. Recent research on this subject is still in full development. There is so much to discover. However, the lactic acid bacteria found in fermented vegetables are believed to have several benefits, including cancer prevention, lowering cholesterol absorption and reducing food allergies. Lactofermentations are prebiotic foods, meaning that they are good for the microorganisms of the digestive system. Indeed, fermented vegetables are rich in fiber and are very digestible. Once in our body, they feed the good bacteria that live inside us. Eating prebiotics would be associated with a better immune system, and would also help reduce inflammation. 4. Lactofermentation preserves food safely. A great benefit of lactofermentation is that it keeps food very safe. Technically, a fermented food is safer than a raw food. This is because the bacteria involved in lactofermentation produce acid, lactic acid, to protect themselves from foreign microorganisms. The environment, your sauerkraut, for example, then becomes totally unlivable for undesirable microorganisms such as Escherichia coli, botulism, salmonella, etc. The result? The food is full of good bacteria that defend it and can be preserved for years. A well-prepared lactofermentation is therefore safe and without danger. We even have a testimonial from a kimchi producer in the Eastern Townships, Quebec, whose chili was contaminated with salmonella. However, after fermentation, there was no trace of it anymore. It is impossible to draw a formal conclusion that fermentation would destroy all bad bacteria, but it gives an illustration of the general principle. 5. Lactofermentation creates new flavors. The taste of lactofermentation is tangy and nuanced, and downright delicious. In fact, fermentation creates dozens of new taste compounds. For example, in a simple fermented celery, you can find notes of citrus, or even anise. In addition, some lactofermentations produce umami, that addictive and tasty fifth flavor. Fermented foods are therefore used as flavor enhancers. Any boring dish can be made to shine with the addition of sauerkraut, kimchi or a simple pickle. Noma, named the world's best restaurant 4 times, incorporates fermented foods into every dish. Fermentation is its secret to offering extraordinary gastronomic experiences. The good news is that lacto-fermentations are easy to incorporate into your diet. Lacto-fermentations add color, flavor and texture to your meals. Much more enjoyable than eating probiotics in capsules. In addition, fermented vegetables can be adapted to a variety of diets. Lacto-fermentations are vegan, raw, unprocessed and gluten-free. They can therefore be integrated into all kinds of diets, and are part of a healthy and balanced diet. 6. Lacto-fermentation is easy to do. Finally, the biggest advantage of lacto-fermentation is that it is safe and easy to make at home. So you can enjoy all its delicious benefits at any time. To make a successful lacto-fermentation, you probably already have everything you need in your kitchen. Vegetables, salt, a jar. By compressing the vegetables with salt in a jar, we create an oxygen-free environment, perfect for the good lactic bacteria. We let them ferment for a few weeks, and voila! You have healthy and delicious fermented vegetables. What precautions should be taken? Fermented foods must be part of a balanced diet. It is out of the question to eat only that. Raw sauerkraut is good for the colon in small doses, but it becomes laxative if you overdo it. And some commercial fermented milks can contain a lot of sugar. But knowing that fiber and a diversified diet are the best allies of a good microbiota, lacto-fermentation can help you eat vegetables that are not well liked or tolerated because their texture and taste are modified. 7. Lacto-fermentation increases your nutrient intake and strengthens the immune system. Lacto-fermentation increases the concentration of nutrients in foods and also improves their bioavailability. Take for example cabbage, which is a good source of vitamin C when you eat raw cabbage. Much of this vitamin passes through your digestive tract undigested. But when the cabbage has been fermented into sauerkraut, the amount of the vitamin has not only increased but is also easier for your body to absorb. Did you know that 80% of your immune system is in your gut? Lactic acid bacteria help to flush out disease-causing and pathogenic bacteria, helping to balance your intestinal flora. In addition, the short-chain fatty acids produced by the bacteria help maintain the integrity of the cells that line your digestive tract. As a general rule, do not add salt to a lacto-fermented food that already has traces of salt. Eat it in small amounts and avoid cooking it to preserve its good bacteria. Easy to do at home and very fashionable, homemade lacto-fermentation consists of preserving a food with water and coarse sea salt, 30 grams, liter of water, in a hermetically sealed glass jar. Of course, you must not only respect the rules of hygiene, clean jar and utensils, and fermentation, at room temperature and then in a cool place, but also not ferment just anything. If all vegetables, except potatoes, can easily be prepared in this way, you should not ferment meat or fish, which are very fragile and therefore sources of food poisoning. And for the same reason, do not consume a smelly fermented vegetable. If you are not yet a subscriber to the YouTube channel, Top Fitness Health, think about subscribing, and if you want to be notified when a new video is released, think about activating the little bell. See you soon for more videos. And until then, take care of yourself.